Evening. Hey, David.
Evening to you, sir, wherever you happen to be. First of all, congratulations. Very
Thank you.
excited for you. How'd you find out?
Well, there was a rumor floating around. The author, Nancy Kimball, she was kind of finding out some possibilities, and we were told we couldn't say anything for a certain amount of time until things were confirmed. But today was the big reveal, and so kind of still blown away about it. And
So,
really
out
amazed.
loud, say what you are up for and the fact that you're a finalist, and talk about the book, and just say what you are and what happened.
What I am and what happened.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Joseph Narducci, and the book that I had the privilege to work on, Chasing the Lion, Sword of Redemption by Nancy Kimball, is a finalist in the Producers Association Awards here this year, 2015,
Yeah.
for our category, which is inspirational or faith-based audiobooks.
Hmm.
And we're a finalist, and I'm
That's
I'm
great.
just thrilled.
Yeah. So let me take you back to when you first started in doing audiobook production.
Yes.
How many audiobooks had you done before you started working on this book?
I had only done about three or four audiobooks, and they were mainly for children's books. They were small, like Dr. Seuss, and they were produced by someone completely other than myself. I was just the talent for
So you
those.
just sort of went to a studio and you did the
Yes,
work and they did everything.
yes,
So this is the first book you voiced at
yes,
home and
yes.
produced yourself.
This is my very first full-length audiobook that I not only voiced, but got to work on as a producer.
That's great. That's
It,
fantastic.
I'm excited.
Tell me a little bit about the equipment that you used. What kind of mic do you use? What software, etc.
Yes, well, when I worked on the book, I just had my MacBook Pro. I used the Audacity editing program that you showed us how to use in ACX,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a PreSonus microphone and amp that I plugged everything into.
Uh huh.
And and as far as where we're going in the future, I got the AT 2020. I think that's, if I'm saying it correctly, that you suggested in class.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that now as well because everything's built into the microphone,
You're
and I
gonna
like the way it sounds.
so using a traditional voiceover microphone with a little bridge to get into your computer. Did you
Yes.
find that easy, cumbersome?
Well, I think what I had in my hands was excellent. I
Mm-hmm.
think that it worked well for me, but someone like myself who's still learning how to use that equipment,
Yeah.
um, I think it just added some layers that maybe I needed to ask more questions about.
Got it.
And I still have that equipment. I look forward to moving more into that in the future.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And make sure that if you're going to get the AT 2020 USB Plus, that
Yes, I
you get
have
the
that.
Plus. Make sure you get the
Yes.
Plus. Okay, great. So I bet it was just smooth sailing to produce this book, right? No problems whatsoever. You just sat down, you started talking. Before you
Yep.
knew it, the book was done. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was like 24 hours and I was done.
Awesome.
Not at all. Not at
What
all.
happened?
It was, well, I'll tell you, for the most part, this was a blast. I loved it. It's been a dream of mine to be able to work and do this kind of thing from home. So many people I know that were doing it, and I wanted to be a part of that. And but no, here and there, definitely hit some challenges, hit some bumps in the road in terms of how to deal with sound. Even my own levels and equipment that I was dealing with, I was running into some areas that just my inexperience, I didn't know, and would run into some issues with the volume, or maybe my distance from the mic, or maybe I'd hit the knob on the box or something like that. And just as I was going along, just was maybe taking a second or third look at that to make sure things were still on the same level. So as I got further down the road on the book, started to see, wait a minute, there's a problem here. And for a moment or two, it looked, again, my inexperience, I was worried I was going to have to re-record a lot of hours, a lot
Wow.
of hours. So
Wow.
no. So to answer your question, it was not a smooth ride all the way. However, what was great about it is I was able to ask for help. You were there. I have some people in my life that are working this and know more than I do, and we're glad to help. And it turned out that that problem was not as drastic as I thought.
Yeah.
So I've learned through this definitely that you know it's good to review what you know, take, get your notes. Like I had the notes from class, just go back over them, make sure I'm double checking.
And this class you're talking about is the
It,
ACX Master
yes,
class.
yes,
Okay,
yes. ECX master class that I
great.
took with you and Dan.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
We're talking with Joseph Narducci, who is a finalist in the 2015 Audies, which is the Oscars of audiobooks, for his work on a faith-based book, the
yeah.
title again of which is
Chasing the Lion, Sword of
Chasing the
Redemption.
Lion.
It's
Great.
historical fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an excellent book.
You know, most people would use the first book that they produce as sort of a learning tool, right? You can't know, you don't even know what you don't know when you first start doing it, right? And you just
Right.
do it and you try to get better as you go along and you try to not make the same mistakes. You know,
Yes.
the definition of success that I have is do more of what works and less of what doesn't, right?
Nice.
And so you use your first book, maybe your first two books, to get the lay of the land, to understand things. And here, out of the chute, your book is obviously going to be selling well now that if it isn't already, it will be. And and I'm assuming this was a royalty share book.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
It's pretty awesome.
This is exactly what you want. I'm so happy for you. I'm just sitting here and I'm vibrating because you work so hard to get to a point where you're confident and you're stable in your process and your sound is consistent, and then you can actually pay attention to your performance, right? Because that kind of is like, oh yeah, I have to be a good audiobook narrator as well, right?
Right.
So tell me what it was like between when you got all the basic tracks done and working with the author on getting things approved.
Sure. Well, work between those two things. I have to tell you, that was some of the best part of this process for me. The author is amazing to work with. She was easy to communicate with, and always was there and available to interact with me if I had questions. Whether it was how do you say this Latin word, or I looked up everything here. What does this mean to you? Make sure we're on the same page, because being the voice for her story that's the best part of this for me, and it's incredible. So that process was always smooth, and then from there to get it approved with ACX, I think because we had worked so well together, everything just flowed. And we didn't have any issue at all with getting things accepted or approved, because we didn't submit anything until it was done, until it was finalized.
Got it.
And so, yeah, I'm really thrilled about that.
So let me make sure I understand. Are you saying you didn't upload any audio to the ACX system,
no, yeah.
or you did?
We did it as we went along, just like you showed us in class.
Yeah.
No more than 3 chapters at a time. And as we did that, things progressed forward just fine.
Great.
Absolutely.
So when was your first inkling that she was going to be fun to work with?
Oh, in the emails, the initial emails. There was already personality. There was already a personal connection. There was a sense of thrill to be working with you. I never felt anything but that the whole time. Even to this day, there was such a celebration today. And she's congratulating me, and I'm congratulating her. This story was born out of a very powerful and personal journey for her too. And she's got the cool thing about this is there's more coming. I'm not sure if it's a trilogy, but they've already hired me to do the next one and probably the next one. So I'm excited.
This is like best of breed results from somebody who, I got to tell you, you worked really, really hard. I remember when, you were in our inaugural class, which was last year as we're recording this, and you asked great questions. You had your eye on the ball in terms of your performance and in terms of your career. What is it that you do for a day job that you may not be doing much longer if you keep this up? But
well, I actually am really happy. I get to work in production as well as a short form producer for a company here, a nonprofit here in San Diego.
Did you say a short form producer?
Short form production in television. I don't know if I need to go into all that, but I work as a creative director for a team, and our segment goes into a larger segment for the programs that we do, and I get to direct voiceover work. I get to hire actors. I get to do location stuff. So I get to play in the same sandbox as some of my dreams are at, and so it's been a great marriage of things working together.
I wonder how your creative directorship has changed now that you are active as a talent,
Yeah.
you know, how that's maybe changed how you direct other people in terms of getting the creative process through.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the strengths of your class that I said to you guys in the beginning was you were clear. I've never taken a professional level class that didn't get bogged down with theory or potential. You guys said, here's what you do. Here's how it works. Do this today. And it was up to me at that point to be an adult, take the notes and apply it.
Yeah.
And when I did, I mean, when people are booking work during the class or
Yeah.
even just watching the videos about it,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So in my own job, to your point, am I giving clear direction? Do people know where they're going? And also understanding the process that they have to go through, like you did with me and like Dan did as well.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. Let me take you here. Don't panic. This is a learning experience. It's okay. You've never done this before. Here's what you do. It's been outstanding, and I keep my notes and everything clear, and that's kind of a great example. I hope other people who take your class that are teachers themselves or do this as well, they will take note of that because that's critical because that's what everybody that's taking a class from you needs.
That's really
How do we
kind.
do this?
Yeah, it's really kind of you to say.
Oh, it's 100% true.
When you look back on those books that you did in studio for others, and you didn't have to do the production work, and would you have done things differently now that you know how audiobooks are put together?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that I would have maybe asked a little bit more questions up front. I think I would have appreciated more the focus that's required in those moments, especially now that I'm doing it all myself. The material, sometimes I think as actors, we get the material and we go right in and we have to give it. The beautiful thing about this now is spending that time with it a little bit ahead of time. So I think I would have, in those sessions, if it's possible, have a little bit more information about what I'm doing and a little more appreciation for that process because now that it's all me, what used to be a fear is now an incredible excitement.
That's
and,
great.
Oh, yeah, it's transformational.
So what was the biggest challenge in jumping from, hey, I think I can do this, to I've done it, to, oh my God, I'm a finalist for an Audie? What was the biggest challenge along that path? Was it in your confidence? Was it in the technical nature of things? Was it in the performance? Was it, what was the thing that you look back on and you go, okay, I didn't have to worry so much about that, but I was concerned?
The technical part. And that's just because of my experience level.
Are you a techie guy?
I'm not a techie guy.
Okay.
And
you're the one, by the way. You're the one.
Yeah. And I remember one of the selling points for the class is testimonies from people you had that said the same thing. They said, I've never done this before. And look, I just did my book. When I saw that, I go, I can do that too. And then also, you guys often in class would hear different people in the class talk about things they were afraid of that was down the road.
Right.
And you guys just kept saying, that hasn't happened yet. It's okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we're as we record this, we're actually in the middle of this year's class, and one of the challenges that we've had is, okay, we're going to get to that.
We're going to get to that.
But we want to make sure that you understand what we're talking about now in a digestible way. Yes. So it became easier for you, I imagine, over time in terms of the
yes.
And we haven't revealed the editing method yet, but if you had anything to say about that, would it be nice? Would it be happy? It's magic.
If I can understand it, anybody can. And I know that's a cliche, but it really is. I'm a living testimony of that. Because I would have never survived the class. I wouldn't still be doing this. I'm about to invest in better equipment and materials so I can do what I do better.
Yeah.
Never even be going down that road if it wasn't for that.
So they don't have to worry about it, right?
Secret method. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Anybody who's got to worry about it, I get it. You're going to be fired up when you learn it.
Yeah.
You're going to actually do it in class. You'll have a process, and then remember what I said. Ask questions.
Yeah.
It's so great to receive help and to know that everybody that's gotten anywhere, it's because people have helped them get there. And that's why I'm sitting here. Great. I mean, I got a lot of help, so I'm thrilled.
So take me back to the moment that you pressed the button that said, I accept. What were you thinking at the time about I accept this job? Okay, now that I've said I accept it, what was going through your head?
When I initially accepted the audiobook from the very beginning,
Yeah.
oh, it was it was I was beyond excited. It was it's happening. It's
Yeah,
happening.
did you audition for this or did she offer it to you?
I auditioned for it. I
Okay,
did
so
the
you got
first audition.
picked.
It was something that, wasn't sure like anything else if I was going to get. So when she finally gave the feedback and it was as strong as it was and as positive as it was and it was a perfect fit, I was in. It was
Okay.
like, here we go.
And was there any part of you that's like, oh my gosh, what did I just do?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There was always those questions of, can I do this? Do I have what it takes? And I think that's normal. I think it's absolutely normal in anything. But for someone like me who's a little bit of a perfectionist or as a talent used to being carried in that place,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this was definitely a stretch. But I knew that it had to be this way. I knew it had to be this way, and I knew I wouldn't be alone.
Yeah.
As I went along with it. But no, there was some concern. Am I going to be able to deliver? Am I going to be able to finish on time? But it was just a day-to-day job, plan it out.
So
But yeah,
in terms of that support, how was ACX for you guys? Were they responsive? Were they there for you?
all the time,
Yeah.
even up to the day. You go on the page, whatever question I had, I asked it. People weighed in, and you have a variety of experience levels or perspectives.
I'm talking about actually ACX themselves.
Oh, ACI. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah, I
thinking about.
mean, hopefully the class was supportive, and I loved working with you on it. But ACX themselves, they offer support to people who are doing projects both on the rights
Yes.
holder side and on the narrator side.
Yes.
How were they with you?
They were great. For me, I didn't have too many questions, but the ones I did about my levels or any kind of issues, they just said, I heard back from them within the 24 hours of sending that email, and they were great, responsive. Here's what you do. Here's who you need to contact. I always got a name. So yeah, I had no complaints there. They were easy to work with, and I got back the feedback I needed when I needed it.
So just to be clear, just to make sure I understand,
Yeah, sorry, I'm talking all over the
no,
place.
that's fine. You used Audacity
Yes,
and you mastered your stuff with the software that we recommend you use, right? It was a drag and drop effort, correct?
exactly.
And your stuff was accepted just fine, and now you might win an Audie with it.
Exactly.
So, there are people that, will tell them, hey, this is what I do. And I do it with all of my books. And they go, really? Because that software, I haven't heard good things about it. And it's like,
Oh yeah,
okay, well,
I've had that too.
yeah. And so you go, well, okay, let's take a look at observable realities.
Uh-huh.
Joseph Narducci is now a finalist for the Audies, which is the highest honor you can get as a narrator, and he used that software, and he used that practice, and he used that editing technique. So I think we can now pretty much stop arguing about whether or not it actually works and just say, yeah, it does. All right, so one other button push that I want to take you to, and you tell me what you felt like when you push the button that says, I'm done.
What? Yeah, I remember that day. That was, I mean, aside from being like, we did it.
Yeah.
I
Big
mean,
weight off your shoulders, right?
oh man, it was super exciting. At that point, I knew that book was out there and it was going to be reviewed by ACX, and then the next step was it's a book. I'd never been there before. I didn't think it's almost like, will this ever happen? Is this really going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
But I was thrilled. All that hard work, all the stuff that I was able to do in that time and to record and push through the challenges, apply what you taught us, and it happened. And that was exciting. When you're waiting to hear this great news,
Yeah.
and
So,
so it was great.
so when did you start to hear rumblings that maybe what you've created was going to be something more than you thought would just be a nice book that's out in the marketplace?
Well, it's been great watching the comments and responses online at Audible, and then the author, who's again fantastic, would toss me, "Have you seen this? Check this out." And it's never been in the spirit of "look at us" or "look at me," but "congratulations, this is exciting." And it would be comments. since it's my first time doing this, I've never seen comments under anything I'd done on Audible or iTunes or Amazon.
Welcome to the world of being rated.
That's exciting, and I know that's not always exciting, but
No.
for now it was great, you know. And so when I start seeing that happening, and it's the frequency's picking up a little bit, then again it made everything any part of this process that's been a challenge or a hill to climb, it's forgotten now. It's here we are now, and it's exciting.
Yeah. So when did you start to hear rumblings that maybe an Audie was in your future, or the being one of the chosen nominees or the finalists?
It happened a couple weeks ago. You know, it started with the possibility through the connection that the author had, and then it kind of here and there, and then we can't talk about it yet. Let's wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Checking out this site, seeing who was in the contest last year, and the finalists in the category that this could potentially be in, and then again when they finally made the official announcement. Just kind of hard to believe.
You know, the good news is, just like with the Emmys or the Oscars or the Tonys, I mean, just to be nominated, just to be a finalist,
huge,
is really, really helpful. So I'm going to give you some homework. I know you're not in class right now, but I'm going to give you some homework. And that is, now's the time when you jump on ACX, and remember what you put under awards, where you said to be announced, still coming, nothing yet, but watch this space.
Yes.
Now's the time when you write in, at least temporarily, 2015 Audie Award finalist, right? Because we forget to do that when we like, I'll do a television show and I'll go, oh yeah, I just did The Mentalist, I should put that on my resume. Like you don't think about it after a while, because it's like, oh yeah. But with this, so when we get done with this Skype call, that's your homework, and I want it done by tomorrow morning. Okay, great.
I got it.
All right. So now, you're a finalist. What's the reaction been like from people in the industry? Maybe your peers? Did you tell anybody at work? I mean,
oh yeah, people are super excited. My boss is thrilled. My agent, I told her about it. And
do you have a voiceover agent?
I have a talent agent, Shaman Freitas agency here.
Do you have a voiceover agent?
She handles all that.
Oh, so you're across the board with her.
Across the board with
Got it.
No specific, just voiceover agent.
Yep.
Maybe you can give me notes about that too if you want. But right now, so she's absolutely thrilled as well. And the buzz on Facebook, social media, tweets. Of course, you guys, you know, your encouragement is huge.
We're just a little proud of you. I hope you don't mind. But we're just a little proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we were talking about you in the class tonight about how, you know, we've had such great success stories from this class, and this class was not treated very well by the established community. You know, but I think that's all water under the bridge now, and I think that the idea that somebody could go from having done no audiobooks at all to potentially winning the highest award in the industry for the first book you'd produced.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool. So the big confab is in May in New York City. And I read somewhere where you said something like, I'll try to make it if I can. And I'm like, what? You what? No. No, you'll go. Yeah. You know, if your work is supporting you and your family is supporting you and we're you'll go, and you'll, you know, even if you don't win, being there is like, you know, you meet all these great people, and you'll go. There you go. Is there a possibility that you might not be able to?
Well, May is a big production month in my normal day job, but I have a feeling that my boss, who's got a background in the arts and everything like that as well, is going to be like, we'll make this happen. We'll figure out a way to make this happen.
Okay. Well, if you don't go, let me know and I'll accept on your behalf. How's that?
All right.
No problem. So, okay, let's take a look at how you can take this and really run with it. Okay. You have what you need now to be able to say to people, I can do this.
Yes.
And not only can I do this, I can do this at an award-winning level or at an award nomination level. You know, if you're considered in that group, you're awesome. You know, it's the top, 5 or 10 books, and this is in the Christian space, right? This is the Christian category?
It's called inspirational and faith-based, inspirational, faith-based fiction, to be specific.
Got it.
There's fiction and nonfiction. So we're finalists in that category.
Great. Now, there are people that are going to be watching this and they're going to go, okay, okay, it happened once. Happened for Joseph.
Sure.
You know, he's got great talent, and that's really the reason that you got this, is because if you couldn't have narrated this book in a way that inspired people and made them, you know, really moved by the story and by the message behind the story, you wouldn't be here. It had nothing to do with, you know, the technical nature of things, the class. I mean, that all helped. But seriously, you have the situation right now where you can say, I can do this. And not only can I do this, I can do this extraordinarily well. And I'm wondering if there's a part of you that is either still active or that you can leave behind that says, wow, really? Maybe it was just this one time. Because as actors, we tend to doubt ourselves all the time. I hope that that's not the case with you. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I think right now I feel really positive. You know, this has been very affirming. It's been very encouraging. I don't think it's really hit me yet how big this is. It's a brand new area, and I've never been awarded anything like this before, or had that kind of potential, I should say.
So, can I give you one other piece of information? One other piece of homework. Give yourself the permission to continue to be spectacular, and know that you're spectacular. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to question yourself. You don't need to, you know, 2 books down the road that don't win an award or whatever. I mean, not every book that you'll do is going to win an award.
Right.
I'm thinking maybe.
Right.
But it hasn't happened for anybody yet. But my point is, give yourself the credit that what you've done to prepare and to learn and what you've put into practice has brought your brand to the attention not only of this rights holder, but of everybody else in your area of the industry, and that you don't need to worry one more moment about whether or not you can do it.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. You know, I know I've worked really hard on this. I mean, you and I talked about that, and I'm excited to see it pay off.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the encouragement and the affirmation is great, and it kind of keeps me going. And sometimes it's a great reminder when I hit that next wall to look back and go, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, I remember now. Yep. Let's keep going. So I appreciate you saying that too.
So if you were to talk to, you know, one of my new clients or one of the new people in the ACX Masterclass or one of the subscribers to the VO to Go newsletter, and they were still kind of on the fence about whether or not they could do it, whether or not it was something that they could figure out if they're not a techie person. Yeah. And they were actors, so they, you know, either had a background or they were nearby to that space, but they still had those doubts. You know, do I have the constitution to sit there for hours at a time and do this sort of work? Can I actually make money at this? I'm assuming that the book is selling well. Is that right?
It's doing well. It's continuing to pick up as time goes on.
That's great. Well, it's going to be a big boost if it wins an Audie too. So, is your goal eventually to be able to make a nice side income from this, or is your goal eventually to make all of your income from this?
You know, I haven't thought that far in advance. Right now, I love that I get to walk in both worlds because I love what I do with my job, and I love storytelling. So if I can do both and make that work.
So this is actually giving you a choice.
It's just giving me a choice.
Yeah.
And down the road, if I do this full time, that'll be a blessing. It'll be amazing. Mm-hmm. But it's not like it has to be that. Yeah. I love the impact of where I'm at now, and I love the impact of this kind of work. So it's a beautiful balance.
So if you were to give advice to somebody who maybe thinks to themselves, okay, it worked for Joseph, you know, David has some cred and you know, other people that I've heard of have made this done, but me, I don't know. What would you say to them?
I'd say I get it. I understand that. I know how you feel. I had my questions in the beginning as well. But I can tell you from personal experience, you know, a person who thinks that way, I would say you have in front of you the proof. My story, the other testimonies in the class, you have the credit, the credentials of the teachers. That is huge. They're right there helping you, giving you their secrets, what they are using now, and making it happen. and you just have to trust that. It all comes down to, I think, a person's willingness to take that step and risk. How bad do you want this? Whether, even if it was, it doesn't matter how much it costs or whatever. How bad do you want it? What do you want to do? This was worth it. This paid for itself within moments of the first class for me. And I
Really?
was, oh, absolutely. I was one of those guys early on that wasn't sure. Dan, I don't know if Dan O'Day has the emails I sent him, the questions, and his encouragement to me was the same thing. I get it, Joseph. But if not now, when? And then he laid out all the stories, and I'm like, I have to do this. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like most classes, it would, when I'm done with the whole thing in a couple months or whatever, then I might see something. This was my second audition. Boom.
Great.
So, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Go for it.
Okay.
I can't say it enough.
And believing in yourself is part of it. I mean, there are a lot of people, especially in the performing arts, because it's just so filled with rejection.
Yeah.
You think you walked in, you killed that audition, they couldn't possibly book anybody but you, and unfortunately you look away too much like the director's ex.
Absolutely.
And so there's all this capricious stuff that is beyond your control that you can't really predict or control, be able to manage.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, if you do enough so that you are going after the right material, going after the right projects, and going after the things that really take advantage of your brand, that's a big advantage. Yeah.
Right. And you guys trained us what to look for. That is one thing I do remember that was extremely helpful to narrow down the options.
Yeah.
And so that was huge, and it helped me find this particular book, and it'll help me to find the next ones as well.
Gotcha.
And again,
you don't mind if we share this with potential future candidates for the class, do you?
Please do.
Okay,
please
great. Because this is great. I wanted to call and do a little fanboy squeeing, and because I remember driving home. I think it was from San Diego Comic-Con last year. And I know you live in San Diego, and I was driving. We had some conversation where I had a long trip ahead of me in the car, and you were beside yourself because the audio wasn't up to snuff.
Right.
And you were like, "What do I do?" And it was kind of like talking you down off the roof because, believe me, you figured it out, and you have some great people working with you at your work that helped you figure that out.
Yeah.
But I think that it's just such a joy to see that what was, oh my God, like Home Alone, I'm done, I'm turn into something so fantastic.
Yeah, and that's going to be one of the biggest things I take with me, because if that should happen again, or some similar challenge, it's not a time to panic. It's relax, trust. I know I have what it takes to do this. I know I have the support. I know I have the tools, and it's just going to take time to practice and get better. And that's a huge thing. And like you said, you kind of talked me down off the roof there, because in my inexperience with what I didn't know, I thought the worst.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who watches this who could be on the fence or worried about that's probably the biggest enemy they have, is just their imagination. But again, all I can say is when you have the right roadmap in front of you, which you guys give in the ACX class, you can trust. The results are in. But you still have to do the work.
Yeah.
You still have to show up. You still have to apply your talent. You still have to give. So that's what I did. And
so when you win and you're walking up to accept your award, and you're off to your amazing future, please don't forget about us little people.
Oh, no
okay,
way.
Please.
Are you kidding?
We are so happy for you. Just great. I mean, this is the kind of thing where in your acceptance speech you can decide, who you want to, help promote. And I'm not talking about promoting us, but the guys at your work, your author, ACX, Audible. And if you want to mention us, that's great. But I'm just saying, look,
absolutely.
You have an opportunity here to really say thank you to the people other than us that have helped you along the path, and don't forget to do that.
Oh, definitely. That's something I thought of throughout the day.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's funny.
If this should happen, what would I say that would be concise?
Yeah.
But but give credit. Like I really want to be good at giving the credit where it's due.
Yeah.
I want to be good at celebrating what I've been given, celebrating that, but also celebrating others that have helped me get there.
Yeah. Well, just
And
know that it's
yeah,
all about giving you faith in yourself. And this was just, it's just, waking up this morning to this news was just so sweet. It was
that's
just
cool.
so sweet.
I'm glad you
I was
thought
so
that way.
excited.
That's awesome.
So excited.
That's pretty neat. Well, you've been a huge help. Wouldn't be here without you and Dan and the class. I mean, it's that simple. I
Great.
thank God for what I have, and I thank you guys as well. And you know, so when I'm up there, if that happens, you can be sure that there will be mentions. And I
Okay.
know
I'm not trying to beg for that. I'm just saying, I just want you to remember, because you get into that moment and you're like, well, I had a whole speech
yeah, I'll
set
probably
up, but what am I going to say? Right. So
I should forget my name and say the wrong book.
yeah. Yeah. Don't do that. This has been great. I really appreciate you taking the time to do
Oh,
this,
thanks.
and I hope that this is just the first of thousands
Oh,
of
thank you.
books that you do, and thousands of awards that you get. And I'm just so happy for you. Thank you, Joseph Narducci, who is a finalist in the 2015 Audie Awards in the inspirational fiction category, inspirational faith-based fiction category, and a graduate of the ACX Masterclass, and someone who I'm proud to call my friend. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
All right.
Privileged to be here.